welcome our panelists. We have Professor STIBE from RBS Business School and EM Normandie Business School. He is in charge of artificial intelligence and digital transformation.
I think one of the transformations I've been continuously designing is how to improve people's lives. Even starting from my first early TEDx talk 5 or 6 years ago from MIT, it was about persuasive cities for sustainable well-being. And the framework that I am giving out to students and also to the practitioners has this slide. And it's all about our target is intended and positive. So here we have the positive, and on the other hand, we have the negative. And the top is our intention. And if our intention is positive, so there will be positively contributing to the well-being. But what happens on the other end is the dark patterns. And if dark patterns are there by design, that's what makes social media, any other technology, leaving unbalanced benefits. So taking more benefits for the designer, more benefits for the developer, more benefits for the managers and the people responsible for that, and less benefits, and actually taking and abusing. And that's why the addiction is there. So sometimes people wonder, but what is about the orange and the yellow? So the orange is a positive, which means while you are improving well-being, people might be more considerate about other positive behaviors in their lives. And then you wonder what could be unintended negative. This is psychology. Psychology always have some hidden underwater stones, which we call them backfires. You cannot predict what people can do sometimes. And this is how you can plan the best possible social media with artificial intelligence, with the most positive well-being intentions. And there will be a subgroup of people saying, I don't like to live in a well-being state. I will sabotage all of that. This is in the yellow circle. So generally the answer is, I really believe why the social media by definition is positive, because it comes from the social psychology. We are hardwired to be social beings. We learn from others, we compare ourselves with others, we look for social norms, we compete, cooperate. And the question is whether these 7 principles of social influence design into social media with what kind of balance between the benefits for the designers and the benefits for the users. The technology, when it arrives to our society, actually exposes our human nature. So those concerns were just exposure of who we are. And the basic technology as a bicycle, we're exposing some maybe like a more closer or more visible kind of first reactions. And imagine the same thing amplified or accelerating over the years as technology is speeding up and actually giving more connectivity and getting more access and actually penetrating our lives. It's the same thing. And my hypothesis here is, and let me share this perspective. Technology is nothing more than the biggest mirror that we have as a human mankind where we see ourselves. And because the technology evolves, we have more and more granular magnifier and amplifier of seeing who we truly are. So that's how I'm seeing it. And the more we have the technological capabilities, the more clearer we see ourselves. So if the question goes, where is this negative in this mix? It's in us. And it's just exposed by the capacity of technologies. And if we realize that perspective, and if we want to be honest with this, that's the only way. And again, when we will arrive to AI, that's how we can mitigate our own yin-yang negative side before it gets reflected back from the technology. So that's my take on this. So if we search for negative into technology, what we will find there, we will find ourselves. It's really about the conscious awareness on how we have the relationship with technology. So therefore, if we adults with, let's say, it's presumably more conscious awareness on these things, comparing to kids, can treat and design technologies so that it actually amplifies the positive side of the human nature and mitigates the negative side by design, this is how we can prevent exposure of our human negative part onto the kids. And again, I would just say, yes, I fully agree. The consciousness, awareness of what is who we are. And then technology is, again, it's a tool that reflects us and our intentions by design. So And what do you think when you say this? You think either you can or you can't, right? When I was a small boy, I had this in my hands and I never was successful. So what was my effect on my well-being? I was unhappy. Now, if you remember, I showed it in the beginning and it wasn't solved. Now it is. And what is in it? It's an algorithm. And if you know the algorithm, then it makes you happy. If you don't know the algorithm, you are unhappy. The same with the social media. And that's why I repeat the word algorithm. And the second word that Xavier said, transparency. Because once you know the algorithm, you know what's happened inside, and that makes you happy. So these are my last words. And just to kind of reflect on this, everyone can do it. There is an algorithm. Of course, it's not easy. It will require a little bit what was said before about neuroplasticity, but this is how you get over almost everything. So start with this.